Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be reviewing this Aquadive Poseidon GMT. Now this one is limited to 300 units. It is a retro-inspired diver modeled after the original Aquadive time depth from the 1970s and has an excellent badge here from Poseidon Diving Systems. So this does carry the co-branding and I think is excellent. Not only for people that are fans of historic dive watches or retro-inspired divers, but also those that actually dive and maybe use gear from Poseidon Diving Systems and enjoy that co-branding. This is definitely a tool watch in every sense of the word. It has some excellent features and details that we will get to throughout the course of the video. But first, let's talk about size. I'll put some dimensions here on the screen and I'll let you guys know, in my opinion, this wears a bit more diminutive than its dimensions would indicate. And I think part of that is just this awesome retro-inspired German-made and machined stainless steel cushion case that melds on wrist very nicely. It has a relatively short lug-to-lug length and a fairly thin profile when it comes to the mid case. So overall, it wears very comfortably, and I would have no reservations in recommending this to those of you that have smaller wrists or smaller sport watch preferences. For reference, my wrists are 7.25 inches in circumference, and I think it looks awesome. It has pop and presence and weight without being unwieldy, and certainly is very legible, and in my opinion, versatile. So Aquadive, this one is a lender unit from this company, so I'm not going to be showing it on multiple strap options, but again, I do think it is versatile. So as shown, this is on a yellow iso frame made in Italy. It's a very nice strap, high quality, has a great smell to it, and it is loads nicer. I mean, it's not even a comparison to the iso frame style or rip-offs that are Chinese made and are placed in a lot of micro brand watches. This is just on another level. So it's vibrant, it's loud. I think it looks awesome with that co-branding with the Poseidon badge here on the dial, the yellow accents of the chapter ring and the GMT hand. But Aquadive does also give you the black version, which I think is a little bit more conservative and would go in more situations. And so certainly that's an option. And then I have it next to this polished Milanese German-made mesh here from the brand Staib, S-T-A-I-B. And I think this would be very appropriate if I were to pair these together. I think it would look excellent. So I do think the watch is versatile and beautiful. And one of the highlights for me is actually the case. It might look simple at first glance, you know, with circular brushing on the top of the lugs, high polished beveled edge, brushed sides, brushed case back, but the tolerances are excellent. This is German steel, machined and executed in Germany. So, I mean, it's really impressive. And I would say noticeably nicer than other watches at this price point from various brands. So I really like the case here. And inside the case, the 2893-2 movement from ETA, which does carry that GMT complication, is adjusted in 5 separate positions. And one thing that I find really interesting, let me pull this up in front of the camera. If you were to buy one of these, you'll get a piece of vellum that shows the individual results for each position for your movement. And you guys can see this is done in Austria. So I think that's pretty cool. The watch, or excuse me, the movement is set within a custom spring shock protection system, and there is dual Viton gaskets. So 2 separate gaskets made out of Viton in the crown as well as the case back. So it's an accurate movement. It does carry that benefit of being able to keep track of a secondary time zone, and you could absolutely use this as a tool watch and not really be concerned about shocks or accuracy. And I think this would be perfectly appropriate to take use of in the ocean, and hopefully having some Poseidon Diving Systems gear. And I just think that would be really great. So it's a tool diver. It's really well executed. There is a ceramic bezel here. The bezel has nice action. I'm going to give you a sample of that here where you guys can see this is unidirectional, obviously, with 120 click. And there is very little, if any, backplay. So overall, very nice tactile feel when it comes to the bezel. Now let's look at the low light situation. Let's look at the lume shot. You guys can see C3 Super Luminova, so a nice green glow, very potent and very good longevity when it comes to the application. Now let's go in on a macro level and take a look at the dial. This is exciting and disappointing at the same time. If there was one area where I would say that there's room for improvement, it would be the execution of the printing. You guys can see a little bit on the text here, the brand, to a very small degree the lume applications for the different indexes, and also the Poseidon badge at the 9 o'clock position. If you look closely, there is slightly rough edges, and I would like to see that just a little bit more tidy, like this beautifully executed case. So that's one area for improvement, but you really don't notice it unless you're zoomed in on a high level of magnification like this. If I were to just look at my wrist to gauge the time, I wouldn't notice it. It's only visible again, very close up. So let's wrap up the video. What are my final thoughts? What do I really think about this watch, and would I recommend it? I think that this is a very solid offering for its price point. You do get quite a bit. I like the Viton gaskets. I like the lume ceramic bezel insert. I like the ETA branded 2893 movement here that is multiple position adjusted. I like the fact that you're getting two different isoframe branded straps. The wood presentation box is nice. I love the team up here with Poseidon diving systems. I think overall, Aquadive is bringing a very solid product to the market. Now, what is the price? Retail price on this is $1,895. If you pre-order though, you get a significant discount. So there's a $495 deposit, and then when it ships, the remaining $1,000 is due. So you end up only spending $1,500, and I think for that price, for what you're getting, a tool watch with history and a really interesting and appropriate co-branding here on the dial, or team up with Poseidon diving systems, I think the overall package is really strong, and I would recommend it, especially for those that are a fan of retro-inspired watches, historically significant watches when it comes to diving history, and those that just want a no-nonsense tool watch with nice elements. Is it perfect? No. I would like to see crisper execution on the dial, but again, for the price point, I think is very much on point. So I want to thank Rick for lending this in for presentation. Guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll put a link to the website here if you want to learn more and place your pre-order. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.